Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for joining today. So, this is going to be our final drawing stream. I'm so excited that you were able to join me on these shelter in place CP drawing streams. And I hope that you've learned something. I hope this was enjoyable and that I at least got you interested in drawing portraits or just drawing again, any subject matter in general. So that's really kind of the goal of it. And, I'm just excited that we were able to do this. You may have had more time at home during this, these past few weeks. Um, Let me turn this down a little bit. Thanks, Angel, for joining. Angel's over there on YouTube Live. So, all right. And if so, Angel's asking, what's the news? I'm about to tell you what the news is. So, but I first wanted to just say thank you. So, thank you to all of you who have been joining and have been participating. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of you have sent me your drawings and your works in progress, and those have been a lot of fun and enjoyable for me to just see what you've been working on and drawing along with me. So I really enjoyed that as well. I will tell you that I do have some plans that we're going to talk about here in a moment. But first, I want to show you what our last drawing will be here together. Let me go to this other mode here. There we go. All right. So, hopefully you can see this pretty well. Then we'll switch over to this other view now. And what we'll do then is tonight I just want to very quickly start doing the layout on this drawing and placement on my paper, and we'll talk about that. But I also want to encourage you to join us. Hey, Ramona, how are you? Ramona and Harry, both over there on Facebook. So I want to encourage you to join us if you're not part of the Sharpened Artist Academy. Linda is over there on Facebook as well. So we've got some veterans out here that have been part of the Sharpened Artist Academy for a long time. Appreciate you guys. And if you're brand new to me, to my teaching, and to the Sharpened Artist Academy, then I want to encourage you to join us. There's a link below in the description. And if you would like to continue working on portraits, and this particular portrait is going to be a challenge portrait in the portrait prep drawing course. And Melanie is over there on Facebook as well. Thanks for joining, Melanie. So this is going to be one of the challenges that we're going to do over there in the portrait prep drawing course. And we're not going to start with this one, but we'll talk more about that with those of you that join us over there. So I do want to say that if you do decide to join, it's totally free. It's free to join us in. Let me see if I can straighten that out just a little bit there. Close enough, I guess. So if you do decide to join, then we're gonna step a few steps back. We're going to go backwards and before we go forward again, and we're going to learn some primary things. Some things that make drawing so much easier, and you can approach a drawing without a lot of fear and anxiety. And that's my goal, is to help you to do that. And there's no reason to have anything but joy when you start drawing. And so that's what I want for you. I know it's possible. I know you can do that. And that's what I want to help you to do. So hopefully you'll join us over there. It's totally free. So give that some thought. And if you do sign up, you'll be on a wait list. And then you'll get an email from me that tells you that enrollment is open. And then you have the opportunity then to go over and sign up for free. Okay, so let's take a look at this and start laying this out. We're using pastel mat. And so this is our, I should say this. Maybe I didn't mention this, but so a lot of businesses are opening up now. And so we're doing the same. And this is kind of sad to me. It really is. But this is going to be our last shelter-in-place drawing stream together. It's been a lot of fun, but this will be our last one that we're going to do in this way. Now, for those of you that sign up inside the wait list over there for the Portrait Prep drawing course, then we're going to be spending a lot more time together. And there's a lot that goes on in that particular course. There's challenges and exercises and a whole lot of interaction. It's a lot of fun. Okay. All right. So, Ted, how are you? Ted's over on Facebook as well. Okay, so let's look at this.
I didn't understand.
Wow, I've got my Amazon Echo just screaming at me here. Okay, let's take a look at this and lay this out over on this drawing. So we're on an 8.5 by 11 sheet over here. Oh, thank you, Ramona. Ramona was actually instrumental in helping to give me some ideas on what we would draw over here. So I really appreciate that, Ramona. Thank you, Angel. Appreciate that. Awesome. Thanks, Harry. Thanks, Angel. Appreciate it. And can't wait to see you guys over there inside the course. It's going to be a lot of fun. So the first thing that, we want to do when we look at a new drawing and we start to lay it out on our paper is I don't want to look at details. I want to look at overall composition. I want to look at angles and shapes and look at negative space, and then think about the space that I'm going to be using for my composition. This is 12 by 9.5, or 9.5 by 12 actually. So if I look at this and I want the composition to stay the same, then I'm going to draw slightly larger, right? And I do want a little distance over here, but I kind of like how close this is cropped. I could get away with having a little more room over here than what I do on this particular reference, and there wouldn't be anything wrong with that. The head goes all the way up here, nearly kissing the top of the page, which isn't a bad way to go either. This could be the same size, and I could scoot the head down just a little bit and draw the same size, or very close to the same size, and then leave more negative space like we talked about on this side of the paper and up here. So not a bad way to go either if we did that. So that may be a really good option. And I like this angle coming down over here. This angle helps us a little bit. And then we've got this hair over here. So the reason this angle is helping us some is because, we don't want a whole lot of just these diagonal kind of angles everywhere, but we've got sort of a hard angle here, one back like that, and then one here. I like it that underneath the chin and the neck, this area down in here is obscured quite a bit from our view, especially from your view, because you're not able to see it. Let me do this. I'll scoot that up. So we're not able to see that as much because it's in the shadow. So everything is very logical when we look at the lighting, and the light source is the sun, but it's sort of a partly overcast kind of day, and so we've got sunlight hitting most of the forehead, that ridge on the nose, which is nice, some of the upper part of the mouth, and then these nice soft shadows that start on the cheek and over here. So love that. Okay. You're welcome, Donna. Thanks for joining us once again. Appreciate that. So Harry had a great suggestion of making one of these boxes, and probably this one over here, as the reference, the digital reference, and never got around to doing that. Had too many other things we were doing, but that is a very good suggestion. So yeah, I guess my point about this is I like that this angle is going in this direction and the hair isn't just coming straight down. Too many vertical and horizontal lines just make for something that is not as interesting, So I like it that we've got it broken up with some more interesting angles. Okay, so I'm just going to suggest some angles in here and large masses on where things might go. And then I don't have to be married to any of this. I can change it up if I need to later. But I do want to kind of lay this out a little bit. So I want to think about the overall shape of the head, the mass of where that head is. Angel, you're hilarious. Angel says she's over on YouTube, says she loves how the posture looks tilted over there in that small window, that colored version. Okay. Yeah, good question. Angel's asking what paper I'm using. This is pastel matte. The nose is tilted up and it's right in there somewhere. Mouth right in here somewhere. Okay. I want to think in straight lines at this point, for the most part. And I don't want to think in terms of details at all. So I do want to look for the darker areas. I want to look for shadows, and I also want to look for the brightest areas as well. But I want to think about facial landmarks and the skull underneath. These are all things that we do talk about in the Portrait Prep drawing course, and how to look for those things and how to see those things. Yeah, so Angel's asking, could we use Mitant's paper and get close on layers? Yeah, you can. I'm going to be using techniques that you can use on any surface, even including, a cotton paper, and including sanded paper. So I think this is a good in-between paper. It is a non-absorbent paper, pastel matte is, but it's also a paper that you can use the same techniques on it that you do on cotton paper. Okay, let's see here. This needs to come down. In here, this goes back. And let's see. A little bit longer. Maybe right in there. Here. Okay. I'm just going to go up a little bit higher. So in the Portrait Prep drawing course, what we have in there, this was a course that I started maybe 3 years ago or more. And what happened was, in that course is some of you guys may have taken that original course a long time ago. But we have pre-recorded videos in there, and it's so much easier to start teaching and talking about some of the things that we're doing, rather than in a live stream. And I enjoy these live streams, don't get me wrong, but sometimes my brain doesn't want to work the same and explain things the same way as when I've got my actions pre-recorded. And when it's pre-recorded, then I can sit there and really focus on what is going on and what we're doing in the drawing. So I hope that makes sense. So that's exactly what we do inside the Portrait Prep drawing course. Okay, now I'm not sure. At this point in the drawing, I'm not sure about a lot of things. And that's fine. And I'm also using a call erase. This is a lot of times what I like to start out with, just to get an initial line sketch down. And then we'll move over to our more permanent pencils. Okay, so we need more forehead here. Yeah, Cheryl, thanks. Cheryl's saying, I think you're great to be able to talk and draw at the same time. Yeah, I can't really do it, Cheryl, if you if you haven't noticed. It's hard for me to do it. I'll put it that way. I'm getting better at it. But it does use a different skill set, a different side of your brain to start talking at the same time that you're drawing. But it does get a little easier. It's getting a little easier for me, I'll put it that way. I see some people do it, and they seem to have no difficulty at all. I don't know. I guess we're just not wired the same. Yeah, but I'm amazed when I see some people be able to just talk away while they're drawing. Okay, we do have that really, really high forehead. I want to make sure that we capture that. And it's somewhere right in there. So this hair does need to go up just a little bit higher. So some of that forehead would be right in there. There we go. Maybe right there. We're not sure yet. That's okay. It doesn't really matter at this point. And this curve is right in there somewhere. And one of the things I think that is exciting is, I'm self-taught, and I've had students sometimes talk to me about, whether they should go to an atelier school or something like that. I would never tell anybody not to go and get more education. Go get more, I would never tell anyone not to go to a nice atelier school. That'd be awesome. Or go study under the guidance of someone for years and years. That would be great. For most of us, we can't afford that luxury of time, and sometimes even of money, of spending all that money to do that. But I think the good news is that you don't have to do that. There's a lot of artists that I know that are self-taught that have never attended any atelier school. They've never gone to college, and they've not earned a BFA or an MFA, and they're doing just fine. And so it's not a requirement. It's not something that you just have to do. And I think that's good news. I think that's exciting. Nothing wrong with doing it. Don't misunderstand me. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. In fact, I think that would be awesome. It would have been awesome for me. I would have loved that, But on the other hand, there's things that we can do as just individuals and as people that are curious and interested in drawing and increasing our skills, that that we can do that. So hey, Sergi Man is out here. Oh, thanks, Harry. I see your comment there about bringing it alive so quickly. Appreciate that. Yeah, so Sergi Man, we are working on this portrait, and we're going to actually finish this as a challenge inside the portrait prep drawing course. So this goes back just a little bit more, I think. Not sure yet where that eyebrow is and some of these other proportions. So that's the nice thing about this is, we just keep looking at it, correcting, and moving forward. We don't have to set anything in stone yet, and that's the nice thing about it. The eyelashes are over here somewhere. Bottom lid is over here somewhere, and I think this angle might be right over in there. This comes out just a little bit more, I think, and then back in. But we'll worry about that in a moment. And let's see. Okay. make sure I'm looking at this in the right spot here. All right. So I want to look at this angle right here and think about that angle. I want to think about this angle right in here. There's more than one way to lay out a drawing, too. Sometimes, you may come away with the idea that you have to do it a certain way. That if you don't do it a particular way, that it makes you not a real artist, or you are less than, or something. But there's no right or wrong way to lay out a drawing. And so okay. So Sergio Man is saying that Man is his actual name, not just a cool username. So let's make sure everyone understands that. Well, thanks for setting the record there straight, Sergio Man. Sometimes I'll get a little hung up on details when I'm supposed to be rendering the entire layout, just putting the layout in here and not rendering details. And when that starts to happen, I've noticed that it's because I'm holding the pencil probably like this rather than this overhand approach. So if you find yourself using that tripod hold and you start looking at details, then remind yourself. That helps me anyway to just remind myself that I need to hold it differently for a little while first. Usually what I found is it seems like there's usually more eyelid up here in profile views, or 3/4, 1/8, whatever you want to call this one, than what we often give it credit. We often want to, or I do anyway, I want to shorten that eyelid just a little bit. And there's usually more there than what I think initially. That eyebrow goes up really a pretty high arch right there as well. Okay. Not sure where all that is yet, and it looks like it's a little close together, so that's fine. Move it over just by a little bit of shading and pushing that back just a little bit right in here. Okay, and this comes up here. We got that hair up here. It's up there somewhere. And down Now, the nice thing about pastel mat is if I start just putting some things in here and I find out I need to change a lot of things, then I can do that. Can't do that as easily on certain cotton papers. This is nearly horizontal or vertical down here. Nearly goes straight down and it curves back up, it looks like. There we go. Some of that hair comes out over here. Sergi Man just said that his his cat must have disagreed because she lay her fancy self on the mute button. Yeah, we were talking about dogs, so that's why she did that. I'm just kidding. It's darker down here. Let's see. In that direction. Okay. Yeah, so Angel's asking where to buy the pastel mat. Yeah, I don't have good news about that. I think I've bought it on Amazon. I've bought it on Blick before, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and it does take a long time, unfortunately, if we're in the United States, and I know you are, then for those of us over here in the United States, it does take a while to get it. You can count on about 3 or 4 weeks. It may take longer sometimes. I don't know. But I wish that was different. Okay. Okay, so if you missed the first part of what we were talking about, though, if you're joining late, then I just want to reiterate a couple of things. This is going to be our last session, and we're actually not going to go a full hour. We're going to be wrapping up here in just a moment, and we're not going to be rendering this entire portrait out here. But what we're going to do is we're going to be doing this challenge as one of the challenges inside the Portrait Prep drawing course, which begins next week. So if you're at all interested in continuing to learn and to level up in your understanding of portraits and portraiture, then I would invite you to join us over there, and that should be a lot of fun. We've done this Portrait Prep drawing course before, and we're about to launch it again. Wow! So Cheryl is seeing some pastel mat on Amazon. Says you can get it by June 3rd. That's a rare find right there. As soon as I'm off here if there's any left, I'm probably going to go over there and get some, because that I just never see that. So that's really cool. Okay. I hope that's true. I hope it doesn't, after you put it in the cart or something, it doesn't change. I don't know. Seems like I've had something like that happen to me before. All right. So we've got a shadow right here. And it increases quite a bit. But I'm not real sure about the proportions yet. And I can already see some construction things going on here. So the nose needs to be moved down. And so we are going to, we're not going to do that tonight, but we are going to be going over that. And there's an interval difference. That nose needs to move down quite a bit. So it's easy enough to do, especially on pastel matte. So we will do that, and it just makes just a few modifications, and you're really close. A lot of times when you feel like you're way off, that if you just look at certain things that are working correctly, then you can start analyzing what isn't working right. And I think you'll be surprised at how close you are. And I wasn't able to see that very well until I looked at the smaller image over here on the screen. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll just get up and walk away for a while, come back, and it'll just jump out at me. So that's one way to do it, is don't just forge ahead and forget to analyze what's there, and keep looking at it critically, thinking about all these masses that you're trying to depict. Let's go down just a little bit farther here. It looks like, there we go. All right. And so let me know if anyone is able to get that pastel matte for that price. That's a rare find, let me tell you. Okay. All right, let me take a look at that. Better than it was. Still not quite right, and that's okay. It's something that now you can start measuring a little bit with your pencil if you need to as well. But you can also look at just some of the relationships now with certain things that you feel like are a little more accurate. And if you start thinking about some of the construction lines with some of the features, then sometimes that does help as well. Helps me quite a bit when I think about some of those and where everything is in relationship to the next feature. Then it'll help with placement. So it's often the rotation and the angles in a portrait that look the simplest that can sometimes really trip us up and can be actually very, very challenging. So, but the nice thing is that if you're on a very forgiving surface like pastel matte or something similar, you can keep modifying it as you progress through the piece, you know. So that's one of the big benefits to working on this surface. Okay. So again, if you're just now joining, I want to encourage you to join the rest of us over there in the Portrait Prep Drawing course. That is going to start next week on Monday. And so if you're at all interested in taking a free class with the Sharpened Artist Academy, then I just want to invite you to do that. If you're not, if portraits aren't your thing, if you're not interested in portraits, the sale on the Beginner's Color Pencil course is still going on, and for the Memorial Day sale. So that's still an option as well if you're interested in just learning this medium of colored pencil and everything that it has to offer and all the options inside this wonderful medium, colored pencil. Then I would encourage you to check that out, and you can get 30% off right now if you just use coupon code MD2020. This angle goes up like that more. Okay. Out here. Here we go. So look at this. The shadow shape comes over here. More like that, I think. All right, guys, I think we are going to call it an evening, and we're going to be closing the doors on and this is it's kind of sad to me because this was so fun doing these, but we're going to be closing the doors on this particular live stream. So we still have the Monday morning live stream that we'll be doing, but this particular live stream where we were doing this as our shelter-in-place colored pencil drawing stream, we're closing that today. This is our last session, actually, so that is kind of sad to me. But I appreciate you guys coming out here, and I'm going to go ahead and stop. I'm going to put the pencil down, put the eraser down. I said I wouldn't go an hour, so I want to stop just a little bit short of that. And yeah, I can see some things that we'll be wanting to correct on this. So yeah, absolutely, Harry. Thank you. Thanks for coming over here. And if you're wanting to see how we correct this and wanting to see how we keep modifying and correcting and rendering, then again, I encourage you to join us over there in the Portrait Prep drawing course, and that will be very cool. Yeah, I'm gonna miss it too, Sergi, man. And thanks for being out here. You guys have been a lot of fun. It's been just a blast, and hopefully maybe we can do something again like this in the future. But for those of you that do join that free course, we'll be seeing a lot more of each other. And so until then, stay sharp. Bye-bye.